Morning world, it's Monday, it's the 7th of November 2022, the moon's in early Taurus. First thing first, if you're a Sagittarius, then you've got a lucky day coming up. Alright, it's a bit of good news for all Sagittarians. The 23rd of November, book it in your diary. Any Sagittarian, anything you do on the 23rd of November should work a little bit better than normal. So if you put any money on the lottery and you win substantial, I want 1%, please. But 23rd November seems a fortunate day for people with strong Sagittarian element, strong Jupiter, anything connected with Sagittarius. Nice day, just a one-off. Now, tomorrow we've got a total eclipse of the moon. Firstly, this total eclipse is going to, you've already seen the geographical locations. I don't need to rehash that. It's strongly conjunct Uranus. The sun will be opposite Uranus. The moon will be conjunct Uranus. It's less than 1 degree, almost exactly 1 degree apart. Uranus brings change, which can be disruptive, chaotic, dramatic, sudden and unpredictable. Can also be stimulating, innovative, original, exciting, fun and adventurous. It can bring independence, freedom and liberty. It can also bring chaos, disorder and really upset the apple cart. I note at this time that there's a bunch of politicians travelling around the world first class to Egypt to talk about climate change. Can you imagine the carbon footprint for all of these people just to go and have a jolly by the Red Sea? I could easily do it by Zoom. But no, it's just a jolly basically. And if they were going to change anything, they'd have done it by now. It's down to individuals like you and me to actually put pressure on the real people who are affecting climate change, like the Chinese and Indian government and particularly the corporations. And that can be done through not buying their products, because at the end of the day, climate change can be put down to one thing or two things. One of them is greed on behalf of the producers, and the other half is the fact that there's just too many damn people on planet. The consumer society has got out of control. Oh, nice bright early morning, fresh start to the day. This eclipse conjunct Uranus, there's going to be big changes. There's going to be a bit of drama around the world in the next couple of days, whether it's in the American elections, the Egyptian climate change. It's going to be in a number of different ways, and nothing is quite going to be the way it seems. And nothing is going to be resolved permanently here. Because, as no other astrologer that I'm aware has picked up on yet, this eclipse is taking place at 16 degrees 0 of Taurus, okay? In 6 months' time, 6 months to the day, minus 1 day, after this total eclipse, 100% eclipse, there is a 95% eclipse of the moon, of the full moon, on the 5th of May, at 14 degrees 59 or 15 degrees 0 of Scorpio, opposite where this eclipse is happening tomorrow. So, 2 eclipses, one total, one 95%, happening opposite each other 6 months apart. That's pretty significant. It suggests that the axis of 15 and 16 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio is really being affected. Of course, this is going to affect some people more than others. It's going to affect those people born around the 7th, 8th, 9th of May and November and August, and the 5th, 6th, 7th of those people born in Aquarius in February. But that's at a personal level. The global implications for this are much more significant. It suggests that decisions or actions that are taken in the next couple of days will not be resolved properly, and there will not be final outcomes until we're into May of next year. And it might sound like I'm just pushing this further on down the line, but this is not the case. There's an even bigger point here. Stepping into the esoteric, as many of you will be aware, tomorrow's eclipse is at 16 degrees of Taurus, 1 degree away from the astrological Beltane point, 15 degrees of Taurus, the halfway point between the vernal equinox in March and the solstice in June. Spring equinox and summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, autumn equinox and winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. The eclipse on the 5th of May will be at 14 degrees 59 Scorpio, 1 minute of 1 degree away from a Samhain point, halfway between the autumn equinox and the spring and the winter solstice, northern hemisphere, and the spring equinox, summer solstice, southern hemisphere, 15 degrees of Scorpio. As I said in a previous video, the ancient Celts of the northwestern fringes of the Atlantic Ocean, all the way from Portugal to Norway, used to only have 2 seasons, summer and winter, which would start at Beltane and Samhain. Hence the commemoration of these times with big bonfires to welcome in the new year and to see out the old year, to welcome in the new, to see out the dead, to give birth to conceive new children and to let old people die. Sounds a bit savage, but it's the way it was. And now we've got 2 big full moons, eclipses, well one total eclipse, one 95% eclipse on these points. I've never seen anything like this. And it suggests that we're heading into groundbreaking times, a new epoch, if you like. Well, we are, because further on down the line, and yet again further down the line, in a couple of years' time, there's the biggest lineup of planets I've ever seen in my life. And looking back in the ephemeris, it's the biggest time in human history. And I do say that knowing what I'm saying, because that big lineup that's coming up in 25 and 26, although it's involving a number of different planets, most of them, whenever this has happened before, most of those planets, at least Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, weren't discovered. So we weren't aware of them. They did not affect our consciousness. So there's never been a time like this before in human history. And a couple of years' time, there's going to be so many fresh starts and new beginnings. Therefore, I see these full moons as kind of end of epoch times, where a number of unsustainable, old, worn out and tired practices and attitudes are coming to an end. The end of modern, organised, contemporary religion. The end of the mad, insane push for greed and profit above all else. And perhaps even the beginning of the end of the large, unwieldy, unmanageable states of being, whether it be the large countries or the large corporates. From a personal level, the eclipse tomorrow and the eclipse on May the 5th. You have nothing to lose by lighting a candle in the privacy of your own apartment, or by going into your garden if you're fortunate enough to have one and lighting a small fire. This would be honouring our ancestors, honouring our ancient traditions, regardless of where you are in the world or your ethnicity. And it might bring actually a small degree of soul comfort into your lives by staring into the flame. What have you got to lose? Nothing. No one need know. You can have your own private little ritual. Right. Catch you later, world. Bye.